get right into it. Number 10. Perfectionism. You weren't born needing everything to be perfect. That's something you learned. Maybe praise was rare unless you nailed it. Maybe mistakes got you ignored, or punished, or used as a punchline. So your brain made a deal. If I'm perfect, I'm safe. If I mess up, I'm replaceable. Now, you can't rest unless everything is done. You feel guilty for taking breaks. You triple check your work, then second guess it anyway. You tell people you're just a high achiever, but really you're exhausted and terrified. Because deep down, perfectionism isn't about being the best. It's about chasing approval that should have been unconditional, but never was. Number 9. People-pleasing. You weren't born craving gold stars and approval. That got programmed into you. If you learned that being helpful, funny, or easygoing kept people happy, your brain filed that under. This is how we stay safe. So now, you read every room like a survival manual. You over-explain, over-commit, say yes when your whole body's screaming no. Because saying no feels like conflict, and conflict feels like danger. The worst part? People start expecting it. You teach them that your time and boundaries are flexible, and they treat them like stretchable rubber bands. And every time you shrink to keep someone else comfortable, that childhood script runs in the background whispering, "Good job, we're still loved." Number 8. Over-apologizing. Ever say sorry for just existing? Like someone bumps into you and somehow you're the one apologizing? That's not random. That's childhood code. If you grew up in a house where emotions were loud, unpredictable, or ignored, your brain adapted fast. It learned, don't be a problem, be small, be quiet, keep things calm. And boom, adult you turns into a human buffer zone. You apologize when someone talks over you. You apologize when you take up space. You apologize in emails before you've even asked for anything. It's not manners. It's survival mode dressed up as social skills. Meanwhile, your inner child is sitting in the control room like, nailed it, crisis avoided. Number 7. Suppressing emotions. You ever feel weird crying in front of people? Or like showing emotions makes you too much? That's not emotional control. That's emotional suppression, built from survival. If you grew up hearing "stop crying," or "I'll give you something to cry about," or saw adults explode when emotions got big, you learned fast. Feelings? Danger. So you stuffed them down, pushed them away, maybe even became the chill one or the strong one. But suppressed emotions don't vanish. They just reroute into anxiety, health issues, or emotional blow-ups that feel totally random. You didn't become numb because you're broken. You became numb because feeling didn't feel safe. Number 6. Overthinking. You ever replay a conversation in your head 43 times just to make sure you didn't sound weird? That's not just anxiety. That's early survival training. If you grew up in an environment where the rules kept changing, where moods shifted fast, where approval was inconsistent, your brain adapted. It learned to scan everything, every tone, every expression, every "I'm fine" that didn't feel fine. Overthinking became your armor. Because if you could predict the storm, maybe you could dodge it. Now you're an adult, still running scenarios, still trying to pre-apologize for stuff that hasn't even happened yet, just to feel a little less unsafe. Number 5. Avoiding conflict. If conflict makes your stomach flip, your throat close, and your brain go into please disappear mode, guess what? That's not random. That's your childhood teaching you that conflict equals chaos. Maybe arguments in your house were loud or scary, or maybe they just didn't happen at all because everything got buried under silence and tension. Either way, you learned that speaking up means trouble. So now, you bottle things up until you either explode or emotionally flatline. You ghost people instead of confronting them. You say, "It's fine," when it's absolutely not. And your brain rewards you with a hit of fake peace, while your real needs sit in the corner collecting dust. Number 4. Hyperindependence. I don't need anyone. Sounds strong, right? But a lot of the time, it's just trauma in a power suit. If you grew up being let down, ignored, or punished for having needs, your brain learned that asking equals danger, so it shut that system down. Now you do everything yourself. You don't delegate. You don't ask for help. You say, I'm fine, while carrying emotional furniture up a 5-story staircase, alone. And people think you're just really independent, but deep down, you're exhausted. Because being a one-person rescue team feels safer than trusting someone else not to drop you. Number 3. Fear of failure. Ever feel like failing at something means you are a failure? That's not ambition. That's childhood fear with better branding. See, some of us didn't grow up learning that failure is part of learning. We grew up learning that failure equals disappointment. Maybe you brought home a B+ and heard, why not an A? Maybe you made one mistake and got the silent treatment. So now your brain doesn't see failing as trying. It sees it as danger. An adult you? You procrastinate, self-sabotage, or just don't even try. Because trying means risk, and risk means disapproval. Not from strangers, from the voice in your head that sounds a lot like someone from your childhood. Number 2. Negative self-talk. That voice in your head that says, you're not good enough? It didn't come from nowhere. In fact, it probably sounds a lot like someone from your past. Maybe a parent, a teacher, a sibling, someone who criticized more than they praised. Your brain took their words and turned them into your inner narrator. Not because it hates you, but because it thought repeating the criticism might help you avoid more of it. Be perfect so no one gets mad. Don't try that. You'll just embarrass yourself. You're only valuable if you're impressive. That voice? It's not the truth. It's just a survival strategy that outlived its usefulness. Number 1. Trust issues. You don't have walls because you're mysterious. You have them because your nervous system never felt safe dropping them. If people in your childhood were inconsistent, loving one moment, cold the next, your brain learned a brutal lesson. Connection isn't safe. People leave. People change. People lie. So now, you scan for red flags before you feel anything. You brace for betrayal even during good moments. You test people to see if they'll leave. And when they do, it just confirms what you already believe. Not because you're broken, but because once upon a time, trust cost you something. And your brain swore it would never let that happen again. Overthinking, people-pleasing, perfectionism, these aren't quirks. They're old survival strategies. Your brain picked them up when love felt earned, when safety wasn't a guarantee, and they probably worked back then. But now, they're just habits that keep you small, quiet, stuck. Healing doesn't start with fixing yourself. It starts with understanding yourself. So if any of this hit a little too hard, maybe that's not a bad thing. Maybe it's a sign you're ready to stop surviving and actually start unpacking all this. We're diving deeper in future videos. So if this hit subscribe. Because the next one, it might just explain what your coping style never could.